Losers are losers and losers are users. So don't use drugs, don't use drugs.
Hi, McGruff the Crime Dog here with Regina, urging all of you to tell him to quit. Take a bite out of crime. For more information, write this address.
Begin! You're mine. Chicken!
McGruff here. If a bully is bothering you, play it smart and try to talk it out. Or get away and tell an adult.
Well done.
For more tips, write for my new free comic activity book. Play it smart and help take a bite out of crime.
Hello, and welcome to our special guest, handsomely dressed in a raincoat, a fellow who truly leads a dog's life. Meet McGruff, the crime dog.
Thanks, Dick. It may be a dog's life, but I'm helping people take a bite out of crime.
Indeed you are. Now, do I understand that neighborhood watch programs have reduced crime in some areas as much as 50%?
That's right, but there's more to be done.
Well, tell me about it, which I'm sure he will.
You bet. Make sure your neighborhood has plenty of lights. Leave one on in your house at night, and remember, light a light to stop a thief.
Shady characters prefer the dark, eh?
You got it. Also, start a volunteer escort service for older folks.
Aha, good news for the old folks at home, eh? What about the young folks?
Start McGruff houses.
Which are?
Houses kids can duck into in case of trouble.
Terrific. Anything else?
Yeah, that's a nice jacket, Dick.
Oh, thanks, McGruff. Hey, and thanks for all you're doing. For more information, write to this address and help
Help take a bite out of crime.
Stay bombad. Welcome to the Bombadcast.
Who's ready to take a bite out of crime? Are you, Jerry?
I've been taking bites out of crime since before I knew how to take a bite out of crime. It's been great. It's been great.
It's
Listen,
been great.
Happy May the 4th.
Dude.
What better time to think about crime prevention than Star
May
Wars
the
Day?
4th. I know.
May the 4th be with you. Yes.
Most people don't remember make those I guess correlations, but here we are doing that right now.
No.
That's
our job.
Yeah, we do all the hard thinking for you.
We
The
do best.
difficult
Yeah,
subjects.
You're really quite dumb, aren't you? Yeah, we're watching it. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay. We love you guys. We love you. You're smart.
No, obviously this is actually a pre-record, which you don't do often. Scotty is operating things in the back of house more than likely, so making sure all this is working, pulling up your comments and stuff. Super excited. We had a extremely wholesome interview with McGruff the Crime Dog, and it is
surprisingly for us.
I'm telling you, it is one of those episodes you're gonna watch and go, well, I learned something. Number one. Number two, I know how to take a bite out of crime. And number three, they talked about Star Wars. So we hit our usual Thursday night special.
I didn't expect McGruff to have that take on Star Wars Vision Season 2. I didn't know McGruff got it early, but he's McGruff the Crime Dog. So,
man.
Yeah.
But if it's your first time watching, by the way, we're the Bombadcast. Every Thursday we go
us.
live. That's us. We do a weekly show every Thursday live to discuss all things Star Wars. Next week, we're actually talking Star Wars Visions. Every Wednesday, we have a gaming show, Bombad Gaming, which will be covering some Zelda gaming, hopefully whenever the new game comes out in 2 weeks. It is obviously a weekly video game streaming show. Super excited about that. But we also have a Patreon if you haven't yet. And if you are a patron, by all means, shout out to Trevor, Rasputin, Preston, Buck, Alden, David, Trey, Wesley, Chase, Neil. Oh, of course.
Neil Larry, Todd DeGrossier, Brian Finesse, M from Pink Milk, Michael McCoy. We have Brian Frey. We have Jeff Quaglio. We have Jared the Dark Jedi. Seth Parnell. I'm not sure what I'm doing. And Seth Parnell. Sean Room. Rick Villanueva. Joe Organa. Brandon Schrader. Andy H. Will Beatty. Scotty Holiday. And this could be you. This could be you. This could be you.
It could be. And it could be McGruff, too. You never know.
McGruff could join our Patreon. Yeah, absolutely.
Never know.
It seems kind of likely after this conversation.
So we had a really wonderful conversation. You'll be seeing that momentarily. I'm very excited for you to watch it. It's different pacing for Bombadcast. That really is a very wholesome episode. This is the episode that I could literally show to a very Eleanor could watch this one.
I was gonna say this is the family episode of the Bombadcast. Yes,
it is. It really
usually we kind of open the doors of the cantina and we kind of hang out. We get a little loose and wild and stuff, and we're still fun. But we had just a nice thoughtful conversation with Mr. McGruff. So
it was legendary, and just so you know, you can see it. McGruff will appear on screen when we speak to him. It is not technically his mascotted outfit. It is McGruff in the form of a 3D animation. So it's pretty cool. And we talk about his legacy. We talk about who he is, what his goal is. We actually talk to the head of McGruff's. It's the national. Let's see, make sure I'm saying this correctly. National
Crime Prevention.
Yeah, National Crime Prevention Council. So we talked with the
It's like this is live because we're probably not gonna edit that out.
No, we're not.
It feels like we're live. So
we talked to Paul Del Monte with the National Crime Prevention Council. So that was pretty cool. But I hope you enjoy it and enjoy your May the 4th. Looking forward to see what you have to say in the chat, in the comments of this. But as always, we'll see you on the other side.
Ooh, YouTube magic, here we go.
VHS. What's going on, y'all? This is exciting. May the 4th.
By the magic right here of YouTube. Editing. Here we are.
Yes, we're here, and we cannot be more excited. We are very, very fortunate to say we have a really awesome guest coming on the Bombadcast, an icon from the 80s, 90s, and currently as well. I cannot wait to bring him.
Just icon. Period.
So right? McGruff, it's McGruff the Crime Dog, and before we bring the voice of McGruff in, McGruff is going to be here, located in the frame, so we can hang out with McGruff. McGruff, how are we doing?
Oh, what a fantastic time to be with you all on this wonderful, podcast.
Yes,
sharing and with one another. I hope that the audience will enjoy it as much as we're presenting it and having fun doing it.
Oh, they definitely will, especially with you. And I want to kick this whole thing off, because this is obviously May the 4th. We're a Star Wars podcast. We cover everything in terms of books, novels, movies. And I wanted to ask this. We ask every guest this, McGruff.
Well, we wanted to have noted Star Wars fan, Scruff McGruff.
Yes,
on the show. Absolutely did. But we ask every guest this right here.
This is something we're very proud of. We came up with this idea that Star Wars can be quantifiable in 3 ways. What you would consider your best, favorite, and most fun. Now, McGruff, I know you're a product of this 80s culture and this 80s iconography, and I gotta ask you. I'm sure you're a fan of the original trilogy, but what do you consider your favorite Star Wars?
Well, each one of them had their own personality. Yeah. And I always kind of have to think about it as kind of going back to the original Star Wars, because it was so ahead of its time when you really think about it.
I agree.
The graphics and everything in it. And it just, the audiences just were mesmerized by this great feature. and it's just kind of like the James Bond movies. They just keep building and building, and sometimes, excuse me, go ahead.
No. So you were in attendance. You did you see it?
Well, dogs weren't really allowed in theaters. I just saw, when it became on the videos and things like that. But
right.
Now they can allow service dogs in, but yours truly,
Oh, that's a shame.
That is a crying shame, man. I mean, I'm glad that has changed. Clearly,
yes, the culture has shifted.
Yes,
that's right. I'm talking about the early days.
Well, yeah, it's good. Well, that's
Absolutely.
awesome.
That's a great pick.
The first Star Wars really does have a very, I guess, special place in the heart of people that grew up watching it, and we're kids that grew up with the prequels, and we all have our different perspectives. Do you have a favorite prequel? Is there a prequel you like?
Oh, I just say they're all equal and good.
Makes sense.
Because they had the trilogies and things, and they one just with the other, and allowed the whole concept just kind of grew, and you saw how it began and where it's presently is.
Oh yeah, no, it's built so much since 77.
Oh yeah,
that's
absolutely,
awesome.
absolutely.
Get this little guy on my hat too.
Yeah,
you see a little baby Yoda there. He's there. It's I love that you said that, McGruff, because honestly, it technically it is one like the main saga is one story, so that's like that's a good way to look at it. Like, it just builds. Each one builds on each other, and so I really I appreciate that point of view. I like that. Thank you, sir.
Well, it's from a dog's point of view here.
Listen, dogs. Some say dogs have the best point of view. I'm just saying. So, yeah.
Look, McGruff, it's funny because obviously with the original Star Wars, there was a pivotal character named Chewbacca, and I'm not saying is there any relation or is there any association between you and Chewbacca, but my next question was, who is your favorite character from that movie? And I think it's safe to assume.
you have long-haired breed dogs, you have short-haired breed dogs, right? And so it makes sense.
Well, I'm not going to take it away from Luke Skywalker, or anything like that, but I would have to say, looking at all the characters, Yoda.
Oh.
And the reason I chose Yoda, because Yoda had a lot of wisdom, and he had a lot of knowledge, and I felt he was Luke Skywalker's mentor.
Yeah.
And he helped him all along the way to try to be the best commander he could be, at that time. So I just look at Yoda just for his knowledge of things, his wisdom, and sharing his ideals to try to be with you.
That's beautiful.
Okay.
That's well said. That's the thing too. It's like, when I think of McGruff, I do think of a mentor, or I think of someone that's there if needed, And honestly, that's a great thing to be. And Yoda does embody that exact same feeling. That's beautifully stated. So would you see yourself more of a teacher or a learner? Where are you at now, McGruff, in all your wise dog years?
I have a lot of dog years behind me here. But I'd like to say we never stop learning.
That's right.
And no matter how young or how old you are, every day we can learn new things. And that's what I really try to do. All the years being able to be working with the wonderful folks at the National Crime Prevention Council, visiting the various cities and schools and the parades and just names that we've had over the years, I have to say we always can learn something. And that's what I like to have an open mind. We're never too old to learn new things.
That's beautiful.
That's honestly, that's one of the core, when you get down into a lot of the, it's in the older films as well. But like, that's a core, I feel like, is tenet the right word? It's a core concept of Star Wars, is that there's always, in one of the new films, The Last Jedi, Yoda has the line about being a master. He says, we are what they grow beyond.
Yes.
Right. And that's just such a beautiful, that hit me like a brick in the theater in the best way, just is something that has stuck with me for years too. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There that's one of the core things of Star Wars. Absolutely, McGruff. That's beautiful. I love it.
See, that's the thing. I never expected that I would be interviewing McGruff in my lifetime.
Oh,
You know, I
same.
don't think Jerry did either. And the fact that
I
you're
had a
here-
hint. I had an inkling. Right? So
when you saw that puppet in your school library, you were like,
I'm going
one
to
day.
interview that guy someday. Someday.
McGruff, this kind of ties in too. I hadn't thought about this, but you know, when it comes to like lessons and life lessons, and Star Wars does a really good job at like, at least to me, it does a really good job at conveying like really important and valuable life lessons. Was there any lessons to you about crime prevention in Star Wars? Was there anything like that like spoke to you, being someone that, you know, your main job is safety and taking care of people, making sure people are safe?
Right.
Was there any like things that maybe jumped out to you? For me, one thing, it was the fact that there's like no guardrails anywhere in Star Wars. That's a safety problem.
But
Sure,
That's
sure.
OSHA would have a field day in this universe. I'm telling you. Yeah.
What I could see is, you know, just as people have a fear of crime, that there's nothing we can do about it. And that's not true. You know, when we can take away the opportunity for a crime to be committed, we can make our communities safer. And if everyone takes a part, if they see something happen, what they need to do is report it, get involved, instead of just saying, well, I have a fear here. I'm going to let fear overtake me. And we need to control our fears. And this was part of the whole Star Wars concept, that you can control your fears and anger by bringing out the best and helping others. And that's what we need to do in our communities today, just as it has been from the whole campaign that we started back in 1980.
That's beautifully said. There's a Star Wars quote that's from Yoda. That's so fitting. It's from one of our favorite movies, The Phantom Menace. And the line is, and this is like the embodiment of everything you just said. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. You know, and obviously you can take that what you will. That could be a life lesson, but that's also a very valuable lesson on making sure safety is a real thing. You know, you can hate, you can loathe, you can tear down all these things that you're scared of, but if in order to prevent your fears from happening, you just got to be cautious. You got to be aware. You know,
just as I looked at Yoda, you know, like with being a mentor to Luke Skywalker, you know, he was kind of a leader, that type of thing. But a leader, I always feel, brings out the very best in other people. You know, you can push people through a door, you can lead them through, but by setting a good example, being a good mentor to people. And I think young people today really need to look to mentors, because they have the knowledge and wisdom as you be able to learn how you can get rid of your fears and treat people like you want to be treated yourself. And if we can just use these good concepts, it will help us to have not only a better society, but a better world.
That's fair. Yeah,
absolutely.
I completely agree. That's a very important thing too, especially in today's culture with, you know, all these devices that can get you in trouble and stuff. And we'll bring that in a little bit later. But I mean, these are some very wise words from McGruff. Jerry, you have anything you want to ask McGruff? Anything in particular, or no?
I mean, no offense, McGruff. I'm just in awe of your presence right now. You know, so honestly, you guys are all hitting the nail on the head, right?
Yeah.
So no, let's. What else we got from McGruff here?
So another one. This is more of a silly one, McGruff. I know. I don't know how proficient you are with a lightsaber. With a lightsaber, I don't know if you ever wielded a lightsaber. I know maybe it's not the safest thing to do, but if McGruff were to have a lightsaber, what color would the blade be?
Ooh, color. Well, you know, they had different colors and things, but I'd have to say green.
Green?
Yeah. Now, the reason I say green, because that's fighting for justice. That's trying to bring out the best communities. Well, you know, of the galaxies and things, make it a safer place to be around. And I just love that, you know, color there. You know,
that's amazing. Because if I'm not mistaken, Jerry, doesn't the green lightsaber actually signify?
It is like a justice or like a protector kind of. That's dead on. So I'm kind of I lean green too, as and
Me
that
too.
rhymes. So you're welcome. But
that's for a lightsaber. Now, everyone has a favorite color.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why we have the hues of the rainbow and things. I love colors. I mean, but the trouble is, as a dog, we have everything's gray to us.
Oh man.
Right. Because we're born colorblind. But,
Yeah.
Right.
But I was told what colors is on some of these Star Wars and the lightsabers, so I said, okay. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Green is it? You like that particular shade of gray, though, right? Like
yeah. Well,
it's a good shade of gray.
But but we can still see, and vision is a great thing, because when we lose vision of things, we've lost a lot. So, but the thing of it is we need to bring out the best in others, and we need to have a good, clear vision of even if we couldn't see or anything like that, we still have a vision of making each day the best we can make it.
You know what's funny, McGruff? With Bombadcast, we have this mantra we always use, and you'll end up saying it before you leave. But if you can see it, it's right above me in the Blockbuster font. You remember Blockbuster, McGruff?
Yeah, over there.
It's the phrase is "Stay Bombad," and that's like kind of our belief. We've been doing this show now for 4 years, and "Stay Bombad" has always been our mantra of like it's almost like be peace. Do everything you can.
It started as just a cool way to end the show that sounds like something that one of our heroes, Jar Jar Binks, would say. Yes. And but yeah, we asked people, I think for our first anniversary, Scotty, what it meant to them or something, and you have had your kids tell you what they think it means.
Oh yeah.
And it has become something that is like Scotty is saying, like a mantra, like a be kind, be watch out for each other kind of a thing, be there for each other kind of this is how you stay Bombad. And so that it's grown its way into something like that. So yeah, absolutely.
I love that it's part of McGruff's legacy now, or we're a small portion of McGruff's definitely his Star Wars legacy. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So McGruff, obviously big fan of the original movie. Who would you team up with, like from that movie, like to fight crime or to make sure justice is resolved? Who would be the person that you team up with for that? Would it be like Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan was that old mentor hermit kind of character.
Very wise guy. Yeah.
Right. And we would probably have kind of the same age,
around there. Yeah.
At the time I wasn't, but now when you think about it, well, that's a good question. I probably have to say that. And then of course, we always want the ones that stood up for justice and wanted to just bring the best that we could possibly be, so there's a lot of characters, that, Luke and others, they wanted to keep law and order and that type of thing. And
so McGruff, are you a fan of the character like Han? Because Han went from being a smuggler, kind of not so good person, to then becoming a general of like a rebellion that was seeking hope, like stopping oppression. Do you like that kind of character change?
Well, I always appreciate, even if they started out, not exactly they grew and they kind of maybe said, I got to change my ways. And maybe if I can change my character, I can change my outlook on different things. Maybe we can make this universe a greater place to live.
Yeah, I agree. Another character that always stood for that was Princess Leia. That's what her whole thing was.
Mm-hmm.
She's the one that kept the fire going for like years and everything, of just like standing up against tyranny and things like that, kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
But we all got to play our part, and it doesn't matter who we are. If we have that, can really make this work. So
oh, absolutely. I want the resolve of one Princess Leia. Absolutely. That's what I strive for. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's what made her character so good.
Absolutely.
I completely agree. I wanted to ask you that has a lot to say about perseverance and to persevere and to I don't know, undergo and continue to stride forward. Do you have any advice on that, McGruff? Like, I know it's not really a Star Wars question, but like perseverance is super important. I don't know if you have any perspective on that.
And we should never lose our perseverance, because it's a continuation of growing. Yeah. And each day we have, if we learn something new and we use these things, to say, okay, we don't have to live in fear, as I mentioned before. We can grow and grow and grow and grow and try to bring out the best, we can possibly be. Always bothers me with people. Seems like nowadays it's people just do things just to slide by. Well, if we can give the extra effort, 150% or even more, just to be the best we can be, it gets to be contagious. And this is perseverance. Go for the finish line. You can see the finish line there. You're not quite there yet. You feel like you're falling behind, but just give that extra charge and go over the finish line and make it real.
That's beautiful. That's very well said.
Absolutely.
That's a hard thing to strive for too. Like if you find it within you to make it the best you can be, then definitely you're doing your part in a community in a larger setting. We as Star Wars fans, and this goes for any fandom or even any club or organization, or even, you could say politics or whatever as a whole, there's always two different sides of certain, trains of thought. And like, we've got a bunch of friends of ours that, we believe are like I guess an outlet for positivity. We're not as critical as other fan creators and stuff. And I think, to be like McGruff or to be like a Jedi, you got to have a positive outlook. And that's really where it all, stems from. Approach it with love rather than hate. That's a big thing in Star Wars.
Oh, it is.
It's what's the quote from Most Tico, Jerry? It's
that's how we're gonna win. Not fighting what we hate, but saving what we love.
That's
it's a beautiful line.
Yes, it is.
Very beautiful. This is another weird one, McGruff. We go to Star Wars conventions every year.
Yeah.
We're big.
Listen, don't shove us in the locker yet, okay?
McGruff would never.
McGruff, no, yeah, McGruff would never. McGruff would never. You're right.
Other people maybe. No, but right. McGruff, this is kind of more of a safety question for you. Something that you probably have discussed about in certain videos or certain PSAs you've done. What's the best way to stay safe at like a convention, right? Because you've got people with fake guns, you've got people with all different types of things that may feel unsafe, but what's the best way to maybe, be safe in an environment like that?
Well, anytime you go to a different place, whether it's a large city or a place you've never been to, one thing I've always found out is don't look like a tourist. Basically just act like you've been there all your life and just go with the flow and that type of thing. Be aware of your surroundings, be streetwise and safe. Try not to get yourself in any difficulty. And when people have like cameras around their necks and things like that, obviously they know they're usually a tourist or something like that. Not necessarily, but most of the time. But just walk like you own the place and know your surroundings. Try not to be out late at night, stay where there's groups of people. And if it starts, the streets are getting desolate or something, you need to be going back to your residence or where you're living, your hotel or wherever it may be, and not just be out looking because, you don't want to be by yourself in a place where you're not familiar with.
That's very true. Jerry and I have been to Chicago. We've been to Anaheim, California. The next one's in Japan. We're planning on going to Japan. The most recent one was in Europe. See. So those all really ring true. I every time we get a hotel, we've always gotten one right next to the convention center. So we know if we had to leave for whatever reason.
We're right there.
Right there. And you know what? You'll appreciate this, McGruff. We were actually at a big panel together. It was a lot of us. And someone pulled the fire alarm. And not everyone left. We were the first to really like hightail it out of there. We did not want to get caught in that. And because it's weird. In a high traffic environment literally, McGruff, it's like 60,000 people. It's put on by Lucasfilm.
It's huge.
Huge. And like when you're in a high traffic environment, some people either don't act on instinct, or they do act on instinct, or they don't act whenever things are supposed to happen. And like when that fire alarm was pulled, we evacuated that room as fast as possible. We got down to the first level and we, all stood outside until they gave us the okay, go. But have you ever been caught in a situation like that? Have you ever been like kind of conflicted on where do I go? What do I do?
Well, I try to, whenever I visit a place, kind of know where the exits are, that
Yes.
type of thing.
Yes.
And that's one of the thing in a hotel. Know the various routes you can escape out of or get away. And I try to tell people, don't flash a bunch of cash. That's one good way of being a victim. Just kind of be discreet where, because if they see things, they want to get in trouble later.
Yeah. I completely agree. We've got friends like that have gotten, stuff taken or, they put their things down the wrong spot and someone walks away with it. I mean, it happens all the time. Even at a place you would think is safe, like a Star Wars convention, it's sometimes not the safest.
Right.
That's well said. I completely get it. This is not really of a pivot, but I'm sure you're aware of the Force. I mean, you like the movies, you get it, McGruff. Would you, if you had the ability to like move things with your mind or maybe even, I guess control certain things around you, would you use that ability or would you kind of keep it to yourself? Like a more of a reflective thing?
I would probably I'd like to kind of think before I act. Sometimes what people do, this is where they can get into trouble. They let their emotions get out of control. Have you ever, and I'm sure we've all done this, we've said things we later regret and we maybe hurt someone by what we've said. And I'd like to say, think before we actually express our opinions so we don't let anger take over. We want to control our emotions if all possible and knowing and doing what is right. Yeah. And, the little piece of flesh in the body called the tongue can be very helpful. It can be very loving, but it can also be destructive. And I think that's what we really have to look at and think about things before you really hurt.
That's beautiful. One of our favorite quotes is from Qui-Gon. I'm sure Jerry knows which one I'm referring to. When Anakin's getting in the pod race, right? Right before the pod race. Can you say that quote real quick? Because
was it the feel don't think?
Mm-hmm.
Is what you're saying, or use your instincts?
Feel don't think, use your instincts. I mean, McGruff, that is that through and through, man. Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. Yeah, I don't know. I feel wiser from talking to you these past 25 minutes. I'm enjoying this. This is fantastic. So would you use the Force for self-defense or any sort of safety reasons?
I would say, we need to have, there's self-protection we can do.
Yes.
And so, yes, if there's some force that only is a last resort, obviously if we felt like we don't want to just, sometimes like animals like sheep, they give up but if we want to try everything we can do to get out of a bad situation, but we want to try to do it the very best we can safely. And so not that we would be injured or killed or anything like that, but we just want to get away and without, having some bad consequences happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I completely agree. There's a certain, I guess, precaution you must take.
Absolutely.
At any point in your life, things can go south. And we were talking about that before we recorded our favorite PSAs you did. And my favorite one was the classic. What was the little girl's name? I said it earlier.
It was Jenny.
Jenny. Okay. Jenny almost got in the vehicle with a stranger. And you gave us
this is Jenny, but it's not Jenny's dad.
That's, yes.
And that's what young people, they do. They don't always sometimes think, they think, wow, strangers, when we did our Stranger Danger there in the 1980s, and there's some abductions, that were taking place around our country. And it's easy to get caught in a web. Mm-hmm. I mean, like saying, we always say, try not to get into a car. Oh, we've lost our pet. We're looking for it. You could be some extra eyes for us. You'd never want to get in a situation that you can't get out of. And that's why we always say, always use caution and precautions. Observe the situation. And if something doesn't feel right, don't get yourself caught into it. But like we say, don't go in someone's house that you don't know. Never get into a car with someone you don't know, and never take any money, candy, presents, gifts. Because that can draw you into that web. And I try to say, like an insect, once they get caught in a spider web, it's usually you don't want that to ever happen to you. So always know your surroundings and don't allow yourself to be took in by distractions and things like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. See, and again, I'm a father, and I always, it's that balance you want to reach, with my little girl. Like, I want her to be, you don't want them to be like closed off from people, like be polite, be accepting, be be kind. Right. But you don't want them to be so kind that they're naive, that they get themselves in a situation like that. And so that's, I've got a 6-year-old, and that's something every day, I'm trying to teach her to be that kind, smart, beautiful person, but be smart. The smart part is important. Yeah.
You have to be smart in this day and age, especially, in crime prevention or anything else like that. You can't be concerned and help people and in need and things like
absolutely
that. But we have to be careful too,
Right.
Yeah, it's weird, obviously the world that Jerry and I grew up in, thanks to the things that we saw you do for the community, we've been lucky enough to kind of be aware of certain things, but now we've got a very weird, situation where the internet, there's just like almost like obviously a
whole
fake
new
presence of people, like your person that could be a threat to you is digital, they don't necessarily even exist in the I guess the physical world around you, but they're in your phone, they're in your tablet, they're in your computer, and they can do horrible things and harass you and hurt you. But I was going to bring our friend Paul in. Paul, I know Paul can speak to some of this stuff on here. Paul and McGruff are great collaborators. Paul is the if I'm not mistaken, look, actually, I'll let Paul say his title. I don't want to mess it up. So Paul, how are you doing? I'll bring Paul in real quick. Let's see, because Paul can speak to a lot of this.
Move over just a little bit, McGruff. There
you go.
Thank you, sir.
There we go. Hi, great to be on with you.
Oh, we're lucky
great to have you, Paul. Thank you.
Paul, we were just talking to McGruff about like internet safety and things like that. I know that's probably something you're
he's humble, but now. He's the expert. A lot of people don't realize this, but McGruff coined the term cyberbully.
Really?
Yes.
No way.
Really?
So you've got the expert.
I had no idea. Are you serious?
All right.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, for those that don't know, Paul is the executive director of the Crime Prevention Council. So he is one of the ones that I guess is in the forefront of, taking in this safety, I guess, aspects of our daily and digital lives, to a much serious level. McGruff, I did not realize you coined cyberbullying. Is that serious?
Well, when we had over around 2005 or so, take a bite out of cyberbullying, take a bite out of cybercrime,
Well, how has that evolved since then? Either of y'all could speak to that, because we were kids growing up with the internet. Now there are kids that are born with the internet. The internet is way more than just it used to be a Wild Wild West.
Scotty and I were like the last, I think, generation, or especially me, the last generation to grow up before the digital age, to grow up in foot in both camps, actually.
Yes.
So a lot has happened, and technology keeps accelerating and going faster and faster. At the National Crime Prevention Council, we're making a special effort to make sure that we address 21st century crimes. The internet is a wonderful invention. It brings the world closer together. It teaches us new things. It gives us places to learn, from learning languages to learning about culture and all kinds of things. But like anything else, where people congregate, criminals see that and they're there. So McGruff the Crime Dog needs to be everywhere criminals are. And so we are making a special effort to work with McGruff to help keep people safe online and offline.
Yeah.
Because, I get asked a lot of times, why is McGruff on some of these social media platforms and things like that? Well, McGruff needs to be everywhere criminals are.
Yeah.
And sadly, like I said, wherever people congregate, criminals see that as an opportunity, and our job is to make sure crime doesn't have a chance.
I agree. And
Yeah,
McGruff,
absolutely.
you're very active on many social sites. I know that's not easy for you to do with your paws. It can't be easy to do with paws, but I must admit that's how we got connected here. You know, you being able to come on Bombadcast, your Twitter page was interacting with us, and that meant the world to us. That you followed us and you genuinely engaged with us in such a way that I was like, this is something that people need to be more aware of, even in our little space. Look, we've got about 5,000 followers that watch our videos, weekly, and we have a couple of viral videos. And McGruff, like, do you have anything you want to say to them, about what they can do to prevent or even stop this, I guess, new era of cyberbullying behind, like, fake avatars and stuff?
Well, the important thing to remember is you just have to be safe on the internet. You have to be safe on social media, just as you would be being streetwise and safe and this type of thing. Don't allow yourself to be a victim, and kind of know your surroundings, because you have to be real careful. And I'm kind of going to use this for young people. You have to be careful when people older you or your likes and dislikes, because you think you may be talking to someone your age, but it could be an adult, it could be a predator, and we have to be very careful about those things. So, and they may show you, well, this is a picture of me, can I see a picture of you, and that, and you have to remember, once some media site or on the web pages or whatever, you can't really ever get rid of it. It's going to be there.
That's right.
You need to be very safe what you send. If it's a selfie or something like that, and I don't want to be vulgar, but if they want you to get into something that you shouldn't be showing, don't do it. Because they say, how do you look like this way without any clothes on, or something like that. Just don't even go there, because you don't know who it could be all over the world. And
I agree.
It'll be very, very embarrassing and that type of thing. So know your surroundings and really know who you're talking to.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Jerry and we were privileged to meet, through social media sites, but we knew, because we had worked together in the past and we had talked together, that we knew we're both real people. But
we met in a convo too. So
we met at a convention. So
because
there
we
was
knew each other ahead of time.
Exactly.
Yes.
We didn't go decide, because this is a mistake young people make, and I've seen it. Like, I got students that do stupid stuff like this, but there's some kids that I've taught that are like, hey, I met up with this person at a park, were your parents there? No. And you're like, that's just not, you don't understand how unsafe that is, even though it might seem safe. Like, here's another good example. McGruff, I'm going to show this clip in class, McGruff. Paul, you may say something to this too. I have students. We're located very close to a railroad track, right? My school is. So there's always just, vagrants or people walking up and down the railroad track. No business doing that. It's not safe, number one. Number two, it's illegal. So what would you say to my students that are like waving at those people through the fence? What is your advice, McGruff? Because I'm tired of having to tell them to stop doing that.
Well, number one, if somebody's walking on a railroad track, it is illegal, and don't even get involved in it, and don't even acknowledge, But the thing that we really have to be careful with about these kind of things is one thing I'd like to share. If somebody's asking you a question, could I meet you someplace? Are you home by yourself? You never want to say those type of things or go to a place unless you absolutely know them or something like that, but you want to get permission before you go outside the home and meet someone that you maybe really don't know. And they can talk to you in a kind way and says, oh, I'd sure like to meet you. Is there any way we could maybe meet in the park, or could we meet at this place, or are you home by yourself right now? And you never want to let those kind of things out. So just don't get yourself caught in that trap.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, because I need my kids to understand that obviously it's not safe to speak to strangers, number one, but also what they are doing is illegal within itself. And it should not be something that you engage in positively. That's well said. That's really well said. Paul, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
Obviously working for the National Crime Prevention Council, that's a really big deal. Now, who are like this, if this makes sense, let me know. who are some of the more well-known people that you've had to associate yourself with? Just, not just McGruff, but in like the maybe political sphere.
Most well-known McGruff is, so
Yes,
yeah,
the most
Sure.
well-known.
So, we've had a lot of folks who we get to interact with, work with. It's always an honor to work with law enforcement. I think
Yes.
McGruff made a special effort the last couple years to pay a visit to the U.S. Capitol, and to commend the Capitol Police for their bravery and heroism on January 6th.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh God,
ago,
absolutely.
And to meet those heroes and to be with them, it was truly a great honor. The more notable people, McGruff has had a cameo appearance on a few very notable entertainment venues, not least of which has been The Family Guy, and to collaborate with Seth MacFarlane was truly an honor, as well as a very recent cameo over the summer on Disney's The Rescue Rangers, Chip and Dale. And
oh yeah,
right.
Wait, oh my God, yes, we watched that movie. That we loved that movie. We reviewed that movie.
Sorry, Paul. Sorry, we got really excited.
And for those who are not familiar with the movie focuses on Chip and Dale going from 2D animation to the brave new world of 3D animation.
Yes.
And so McGruff appeared in the 2D animated portion of the film, and it was about a month before we premiered McGruff in 3D animation, which was shot on location at the very famous and prestigious Jim Henson Studios in Los Angeles. So we've had some really great opportunities in just the last few months, really, under than a year.
That's incredible.
To interact with some great people who work to help McGruff out. And
Paul, I'm going to pull up a photo of the Chip from the Chip and Dale movie. I completely forgot that he has this shot. The 2D shot right there in the. Yeah, sorry.
There it is.
There it is.
We are YouTube quick. Yeah, there you looking sharp too. By the way.
Yeah, he looked great. Yeah. He looked great. There he is. He's captain
see
of
the back right here
too. And
Chip and Dale.
Man, so what was that role like, McGruff? I know it was very brief.
I was gonna say how was it working with Chip and Dale? By the way.
Oh, great characters to work with.
Oh,
it's
perfect.
Incredible.
I can say no.
Well, of course.
And I know there has been some very well-known interactions. I got an image right here I wanted to bring up. You've got a photo of you and President Reagan.
Yeah, that was back in 1984.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was he like?
Oh, President Reagan was super.
That's awesome.
Real nice, great guy, great president, and he looked out for the American people.
Yeah.
He was a former actor, himself, and things. And being able to go to the White House, that was quite an honor.
President Biden, if you're listening, we're ready.
Oh, President Biden, we'll send him a message. We'll get in touch. That would be a great visit. Did you meet any other former presidents? Did you meet Bush or Bill or Donald?
We've seen him. I got to meet President Carter one time.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Yeah. He came to visit the community. I was there, and we got to meet him. So.
Oh, fantastic!
And there was some interaction with President Clinton, and I'm not sure they actually got to meet face to face, but during President Obama's first inaugural, there was a special McGruff patrol happening to make sure that happened without a glitch. I'm not sure they actually got to meet face to face though. But.
That's amazing.
Well, way to go, man! Nice.
McGruff, I will say this has been an absolute blast being able to hang out with you. I'm not trying to close
and
up
Paul
shop early.
And Paul too.
Well, I get it. He's the star.
Can I say this about Paul? He's been director now just a little over 2 years, right, Paul?
That's about right. Yep.
Right. And I'll tell you what, this man has done a lot to promote yours truly, not only in public appearances, but he's done a lot to bring us back. There was a few years there where yours truly wasn't really out in the public eye. Back in the early days, we had radio, television, billboards, and personal visits and things like this. And Paul's bringing McGruff myself back here, and that's great. I just can't thank him enough, and the team he works with for the National Crime Prevention Council. They're all super people, and they really look out for the welfare of all citizens. You know, everyone's important, and it's just been an honor and a pleasure to get to work with. I just have to say that with Paul and his staff.
That's awesome.
That's
That's
incredible.
high praise from McGruff himself.
That is
Paul.
high
That's
praise, and we fondly refer to ourselves on staff as the crime pups. So,
Hey,
That's beautiful.
there you go.
I want to be can I be a crime pup, Paul? Is that okay?
I've enjoyed,
it's a tough screening process, rigorous training.
I need a badge. I need to get a badge. I need an official badge.
We'll see what we can do.
Okay, good. So, Paul,
It's in the mail.
I know you'll have a lot of campaigns going on right now. You always do when you come to crime prevention and making sure, safety is always, at the forefront. Is there anything going on right now? Any campaigns we can be made aware of right now?
Oh, we've got a lot going on. We have the Go For Real campaign,
okay,
which is the one I referred to that recently won a top award for education in K through 12. And we also have, I'm sure your listeners are very familiar with all the problems and deaths going on with illicit fentanyl.
Yes.
And so we have a special campaign working with the families and loved ones of people who've been victims, and it's called livesproject.org. I recommend everyone take a few minutes, go to livesproject.org.
We'll put it in the chat right now, actually, so people can see it.
Listen, you can read and get an understanding of just how terrible this crisis is. It's a digital quilt to remember those who've been victims.
Okay, so
wow. Okay.
So interestingly enough, I had a cousin who passed away from a heroin overdose 2 years ago, but it was because it was laced with fentanyl. Yes, and I'm gonna pull up the actual site right now just so everyone can see it of the Lives Project. Look, so everyone watching right now, obviously, when this streams, you can see the actual website right here. So this is a real view into it. So this is where they can go and submit those is it names and pictures?
Photos, and stories. We want to really humanize it because it's too easy to listen to the news and let those words gloss over you. This really puts a human face on it.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
This is beautifully put. This is
and you can see just how young some of the victims are.
Wow.
These are people who were tricked into buying something else, not realizing it was going to be lethal. And they took it, and in 15 minutes they were dead.
That's exactly what happens. Man, this
it's a call for action.
Well, it's a beautiful message.
Oh man.
And it's a beautiful site because it not only memorializes, but look, you can even click on their names and it gets, so I guess someone writes a bio about them.
Right.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful. That is very beautiful.
Special
it's
way, like
sad, but very, very, just a beautiful way to, at least, again, like you're saying, a call to action, a beautiful way to call people to action.
So I'm going to put that name in the chat. If you have anyone that you want to memorialize or anyone that you want to honor, I'm going to put it on screen for everyone to see it. It's called livesproject.org. So look, I'll pull it up right here, livesproject.org. And I also wanted to pull up the what was the other site I had queued up? Oh, the what was the first site you said?
McGruff.org.
Was that it?
Or it was ncpc.org.
CPC.org.
And then you can get to our Go For Real campain and all the details on there.
That was it. Go For Real. Yes, sir. That was it.
Yeah. So it's npc.org/Go For Real.
Okay. .org/Go For Real. This is really, really important, y'all. You know, Jerry and I, we're host of what we call a thing called Podathon, and it's a big Make-A-Wish campaign. But it's still beautiful to see that there's not just other campaigns you can dedicate your time to, like this one right here, Go For Real. So this is awesome. So this is buying fake. Tell us about this. I'm not quite sure what this is. So buying fake products, it looks like.
Yeah. So fake products are commonly sold. I mean, a lot of people hear about or, talk about, fake handbags and designer items, but the criminal enterprise behind fake products goes deeper than that. It's estimated that worldwide, it's a $2 trillion enterprise.
Wow.
And part of it is people have too often viewed it as a victimless crime. Oh, I got a cheap pair of sneakers, no harm done. But the manufacturing process and the distribution chains for these fake products is what often fuels local criminal activities. It's where a lot of MS-13 gangs get their money. It is international drug cartels who are making money off selling fake products, and it ranges from everything, car parts, and if anything should scare you, it's the thought of fake brake pads, fake airbags, cosmetics, cosmetics made with things that will irritate your face, cause skin rashes and burns. Not only are they tested on, not only are they using animals in testing, oftentimes the products contain animal parts ground up.
Wow.
Really gross stuff. And a lot of people don't know about it, and we're raising awareness about it. The campaign has been going on for about 2 years now, tremendously successful in terms of raising awareness and calling attention to the problem. We're focused on, and there you see some of our PSAs there.
PSAs.
And, we're reaching the K through 12 group, especially hard, teens and tweens. We're trying to get to people when they're just shaping their buying habits. So if you learn, Madison Avenue tells us, people develop their buying habits early in life. So it's during those teen years where you're deciding your taste for things like toothpaste and all sorts of other things. So we're teaching kids at that age to buy real products. And to warn them of the dangers of fake products. It's very common. Teens buy a lot of electronics, game controllers, AirPods, things like that can blow up, cause serious damage. Hearing loss, if you've got a pair of fake AirPods in, and they will blow up in your ear, that's going to affect you for the rest of your life.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And there's reasons why there's regulations on this stuff. There's reasons why, look, who doesn't love a good deal? But at the same exact time, you got to make sure you're buying the right thing. I would never buy a product that's either counterfeit.
Right.
Yes,
you got to get the quality product. Yeah.
Look, I use.
If you're buying something that's going to cause permanent hearing loss, that's not a bargain.
No,
not
it's
worth
not.
it. No,
Not at all.
Medical bills in your first office visit you could buy 10 AirPods or more.
If one of those devices would explode in your face, you could not only lose your hearing but your eyesight too.
Yes.
We always say if it's too good to be true, it usually is. What you buy, check it out thoroughly.
See, I completely agree, McGruff. And there have been times, I used to be a sunglass salesman, designer sunglasses, right? So there was obviously some name brandy kind of thing going on with it. But I would have people come in with these fake Ray-Bans, and the way they make them in other countries, without regulations and stuff, can literally, if the sun shines through them, it's like wearing 3D glasses outside. It'll literally burn a hole in your retinas because of the products that are made in those glasses. So that's another admirable thing to do, to make sure you're getting the right thing, because like you said, if you're getting the wrong cosmetic wear, if you're getting the wrong ointment for whatever rash you might have, that could really do some serious damage, man. Seriously.
Yeah.
Well, I've had an absolute, I guess, ball. I've loved talking to both of you. This has been
great.
This has been awesome. It's been very informative, but not just that. It's been fun being able to just talk and, I guess exist in this space together. So Paul, if you don't mind, I would love if you kind of, plugged what you do, or, maybe, I guess, tell us more about the National Crime Prevention, I guess, Center or Council. Sorry.
Sure. So the National Crime Prevention Council was established in 1981, and to this day, we keep working to take a bite out of crime. And it's as simple as that. We're all about citizen involvement. You can't have public safety without the public involved. So get involved, visit us, join us. You can visit us at ncpc.org or mcgruff.org. If you're younger, we've got lots of games there for kids in a safe space. We are, like I said, we're addressing 21st century crimes. And that's the world in which we live in today. It's often too dangerous, and we're here to make it a little bit safer.
Beautifully said. Now
Fantastic.
let's get McGruff. McGruff, do you have anything you want to, say before we end this show besides our catch line?
Well, and I mean, also make sure to tell them, McGruff, where they can find you online as well.
Yes.
We want to make sure we know that.
Okay. Well, you can go to ncpc.org, McGruff.org, and together we all can make a difference in our communities. It begins at home. It begins in our local communities, our neighborhoods, and our state and our nation. But working together, we can take a bite out of crime.
Woo! I've been waiting
Beautiful.
to hear it.
It's still
I've been waiting to hear it. That is awesome. Oh, Paul McGruff, it's been an absolute honor talking to y'all. McGruff,
thank you
we
for
have
stopping
a very
by.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking your May the 4th and making it, spent some time on this channel. I'm excited for people to listen to this and interact with this. McGruff, we do have a catchphrase in the Bombadcast. It's right above my head. It's Stay Bombad. Can we please get a good Stay Bombad before we close out this show?
Well, thank you for allowing us to visit with you this wonderful day, and stay bombad.
Yes. Oh, thank you both so much, and we'll be hearing from y'all soon.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, McGruff.
Much.
What a great
Magic.
discussion. What in
That was
the
so much
world?
fun.
That was so much fun. How wonderful was he?
Listen, that is up there for me. Aside from that right there is just above talking to the talking hunk of cheese man, who was also like he was like a cowboy hunk of cheese. If anyone knows what I'm talking about from the 90s,
No idea.
he was telling kids it was basically like paid for by the dairy companies. A hunk of cheese head, a hunk of cheese. Anyway, but this was
wow. That's new.
This
I
was.
didn't know that.
You're welcome.
Same level. Same level.
I'm gonna find it. Well, honestly, a little above. McGruff was above the hunk of cheese guy.
Oh man.
So, but yeah, no, burned into my child psyche.
Yeah.
And now here, come to fruition, we have this conversation.
Yes, it was beautiful.
I can't believe that you had to pinch yourself. A little bit,
I remember
unless
McGruff
you have
coming
pause,
to my school.
unless you have pause,
Unless you
you
have
might
pause.
have to yeah.
But I had McGruff come to my school as a kid and seeing him, seeing McGruff, the Dare Lion, all that stuff. But now we've actually interviewed a PSA icon from the 90s and the 80s. So that is off your
part of pop culture.
Part of pop culture. Full
Part of
Star
pop culture.
Wars interview. No anyone else that has done that. So that is, I'm honored to say that we are the first. We always get the first real Seth Green Star Wars centric interview, the first real Mac DeMarco, centric Star Wars interview. And here we are with the first McGruff the Crime Dog centric Star Wars interview. So
checking them off one by one. Just set them up and knock them down.
Thanks again for Steve and Jerry, who are the I guess kind of the handlers of McGruff as well, and of course Paul. But this has been a wonderful time hanging out with you. We do have plans next week. We're talking Star Wars Visions. So
yes,
it's going to be a blast talking about it.
But by now you've already seen it and everything.
Yes,
you probably came here expecting us to talk about that, but no, it's McGruff. But
it's McGruff.
Yeah. But listen, I can't wait for that, and I hope you guys all had a bunch of fun spending all of your money today. So.
I agree. Yeah, and if you haven't yet, if you want to spend some more money, we just added our bumper. Look right above Jerry. We got our website. If you want to go to staybombad.com, links to our social pages right here. If you want to scan that, and most importantly, if you want to join the Patreon, we're right there too.
This is a good one too. This is a good one. We're gonna be we're about to get under the hood of this thing. And look at the nuts and bolts, revamp
really work on it, but
really dig deep.
Really dig deep. Anyway, I love you, Jerry. Great.
I love you too.
With McGruff, super excited. We hope everyone enjoys their May the 4th. And like McGruff said earlier, I'll give you the honor, Jerry. How did he say it? Do the tone of McGruff. Let's hear it.
Was take a bite out of crime? That one, or like but he also said stay bombad.
Did you say impossible, Pasquale? Only kidding, Jackie. I've changed my tune because I finally thought of a possible dream that we can all share.
What is it? Pasquale?
It's a dream about a world when nobody is poor or sick or hungry.
Oh, now that's a dream we can make come true.
I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. It's gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right.
As I point up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind.
I see the kids in the street with not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A sour's disregard, a broken bottle top,
and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with a man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer.
If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways.
come on, change. No message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Oh yeah,
I'm asking him to change his ways.
no message could have been any clearer. If you wanna make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change.
Time for us to take a break, but we wouldn't dream of being gone for long. See you in a little bit.